Good morning, everybody. I'm actually oddly nervous about this.
Good morning, everybody. I'm your shimming
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. The time to you is worth saving. You better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesy with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. No telling who that it's naming, for the loser now will later to win. All the times they are changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will he who has stalled. Battle outside is raging, and soon it'll shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters beyond your command. The old road is rapidly aging. Get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand, for the times they are changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, and the present now will later be past. The old Lord is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are changing. Thank you.
And now Dana Wright is going to read the board greeting.
Good morning. I am Dana Wright, and I am a member of the Board of Trustees here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. My pronouns are she and her. Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes. You are welcome here. No matter what you have experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, or some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. You are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society.
Thank you, Dana. So again, welcome to the South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society, now holding services fully online. So if you notice that the board greeting has now been changed to acknowledge that we are not a community, that because the line was removed about however you came through the door, because we are talking about being here together in our full spaces together. My name is Reverend Karen Madrone, and I am the interim minister at South Valley this year. My pronouns are she and hers. Our call to worship this morning is from Sarah Lawal. So I ask you to just take a second to get comfortable where you are and just kind of just focus in on these words. I know there's a lot of images going on, but just think on these words here. This is it. This moment is enough. Welcome it. Welcome each other. Welcome love. Let the light in. Sing to the birds singing to you. Smile your best smile on camera, knowing that someone else needs it right now. Find a thing of beauty, celebrate it. Reach out your heart, shed tears if you need to. Know we are all in this together. Let love in, welcome it. This moment is enough. This is it. Come, let us worship together. Our ingathering song is going to be sung by John Berquist. He is going to be singing, sorry, I left the wrong words here, but I'm going to drop them into the chat box. So trying to keep up with all the tech here. So in 1 second, I'm going to drop that in. Here we go.
Morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here with you digitally this morning and invite you to sing along if you like, or just to listen as you prefer. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Now you will do the lighting of the chalice. So Reverend Karen is going to light our chalice behind her, and the chalice lighting words will come into the chat box. If you have a small candle, or in my case a large candle, or a chalice of your own, we welcome you to light it with us. Stephen is going to unmute everyone. So feel free to stand as we say.
He is like openly anyone that he doesn't like.
Here they come. Hear the voices. All right. So feel free to switch on the lighting words. They're in the chat box now. Lighted chalice for the warmth of
love, for the light of truth,
and for the energy of action.
So welcome everyone. My name is Rebecca Britt, and I am today's lay worship leader. The pronouns I use are she and her. I'd like to welcome you this morning to South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. We're an intentionally diverse religious community. All are welcome here. We would like to extend an especially warm welcome to those of you who are visiting us for the first time. We're so glad you're here. We would love to get to know you. Our greeter today, Natalie Cole, is going to drop our connection card into the chat box for any of our newcomers so you can be connected to our community. This is a caring and supportive community. During this time of physical distancing, we are working to be creative in how we take care of each other. A group of members are actively reaching out to folks in our community and will continue to do so while we are in this pandemic. The pastoral care card has been put on our website and is in the link that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box. So all our online services are intergenerational. Our religious exploration gatherings take place at a separate time. So to find out more about our e-classes, I'm the Director of Religious Exploration. Check out the Happenings newsletter or contact me at my email address that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box. To keep updated on activities that are part of the South Valley community, we encourage you to use the Google Calendar on the South Valley website. If there are activities that you know of that are not on the calendar, or you would like to host a group gathering, please use the reservation form on the website. Although we are physically separate, we're still connected. After today's service, there'll be a short break, and then the community bylaws chat will begin at noon. We'll be staying in the same Zoom room. So now we're going to do our sharing the warmth of community. Please take this time to say hello to each other in the chat box. Please say where you're joining us from, and you'll also be unmuted. Hello!
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hi. There's Cinnamon.
Hi.
Hello, this is Molly.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Tessa.
How are you?
Hello.
Brenda.
Hello.
Is that Nicholas Renshaw? Hello. I'm Kate Murray.
Congratulations, Johnny. There's a cute. Look at everybody. That's okay.
Cute dog screen.
Cinnamon Alice painting. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful, Natalie. Cinnamon. Cinnamon. Wow.
I did what?
Wow.
Oh.
This is my church for today. Beautiful. Oh, how pretty. Oh, that's lovely.
He's got a little dog here. Oh, we should show our little dog.
Oh, baby, so cute.
Love everyone's dogs.
All right, I'm going to do the sounding ball.
Whoops. Oh, everybody's cats. Eat a dog.
I encourage you to metaphorically come back to your seats for the time for all ages. So we're all as close to each other as we can be, but everyone metaphorically come on up for the time for all ages. The book I'm reading today is called It Feels Good to Be Yourself. And this is written by Teresa Thorne and illustrated by Noah Grigney. So, feels good to be yourself. Here's the first picture. This is Ruthie right here. She's a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. Girl is Ruthie's gender identity. This is Ruthie's brother Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. That means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy, and as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He's a boy. Boy is Xavier's gender identity. There's so many different ways to be a boy or a girl. Too many to fit in a book. But not everyone feels like either a boy or a girl. Non-binary is a helpful word that can describe a kid who doesn't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. This is Ruthie's friend Alex. Alex is both a boy and a girl. When Alex was born, everyone thought Alex was a girl, but Alex is both a boy and a girl. This is Alex's gender identity. This is Alex's friend JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or a girl. They just felt like themselves. This is JJ's gender identity. And even with all these possible ways to be, some kids don't feel like any of the words they know fit them exactly right. There are a never-ending number of ways to be yourself in this world. Whether you feel like a boy, a girl, or both, or neither. If you describe yourself another way, that's your gender identity. Your gender identity might match what people thought when you were born, or it might not. See, when you were born, you couldn't tell people who you were or how you felt. They looked at you and made a guess. Maybe they got it right, maybe they got it wrong. What a baby's body looks like when they're born can be a clue to what the baby's gender will be, and not always. When people guess wrong, it's okay to let them know. Ruthie was 5 when she told her parents, "I know you think I'm a boy, but I really feel like a girl." Oops, Ruthie was a girl all along. They just didn't know it at first. When people guess right, it's also okay to let them know. Xavier was 3 when he told his family, "I'm a boy. I like being a boy." You might feel like a boy. You might feel like a girl. You might feel like both a boy and a girl, or like neither. You might feel like your gender changes from day to day or year to year. You might feel like none of those words describe you perfectly. You might not be sure yet. Maybe you're still figuring it out. Your feelings about your gender are real. Listen to your heart. No matter what your gender identity is, you are okay exactly the way you are, and you are loved. It feels good to be yourself, doesn't it? The end. So this is a great book. It's by Teresa Thorne, and it has resources in the back as well, if you want to check it out for yourself. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was really great. I would like to ask everybody to get comfortable in your chair, move your shoulders around, get in whatever situation physically that you need to be in a space of just opening and to the energy that's around you, and knowing that we are all connected across our spaces, that this worship service is just as real as any worship service that happens in person. So just be aware of that we are all connected wherever we are. So I just want to take a minute just to center and have just a few seconds of silence before I begin the prayer. Spirit of love and light, we thank you for being with us through this very unexpected, unprecedented time that we are all in. We thank you for being connected to us even when that we have moments of great sadness, remembering that there are people dying right now. There are people in crisis right now. And at the same time, we are holding true that people are connecting across the world to each other in ways that were previously unimagined. We are holding the space of both incredible sadness and joy, all of those things at once. We thank you for being with us while we are experiencing all of these things, knowing that somehow we are going to keep working through this. We have the resilience as individuals and also as a community to share from our hearts, to share, be connected. Please give us the strength to reach out when we need to, when we need support, when we need help with anything. Please give us the strength to know that we are not actually all on our own, even though it may feel that way right now. We have support within this community and around the world. We are connected, and I don't mean that in some kind of unreal way. We are very much real to each other, even if we are not physically seeing each other. We thank you, Spirit, and the great love that surrounds each and every one of us wherever we are. In this moment, I want to lift up knowing that some of you have recently had surgeries. We have members who their partners and spouses have also been through emergency surgeries and other kinds of health crises that are going on in addition to the COVID-19. Let us hold all of those things in our hearts, and I'm just going to take another moment of silence that we can all hold together. Spirit of love, be with us through all of our times, whether we are together physically or apart, we are still connected. Thank you, blessed be, and amen.
When I was a boy, each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word, consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track. Everything's a miracle. Everything, everything, everything's a miracle. Wine, water is not so small. Even better, magic trick. Anything is here at all. So challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, find out where there isn't one. When holy water was red at best, barely wet my fingertips. Now I gotta hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of air. Used to be a world half there, half a second rate, hand me down, walking with a reverend here. Everything is holy now. Everything, everything, everything is holy now. Read question in child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament. Tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out. How things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. Used to be a world half there, having second rate, hand me down, walking with a reverend here. 'Cause everything is holy now.
Sophia Haas Chingy is now going to share her South Valley story. Sophia, we can't hear you.
I'm still muted.
We can hear you now too, Sophia.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Good morning. My name is Sophia Hostingi. My pronouns are hers and sometimes they. I've been coming to South Valley for over 9 years, and I guess you could say that I'm a convert, a transplant, and a recruit. The last time I told my South Valley journey was over 2 years ago on October 2017. This has been a tough week for me. In addition to the physical isolation we are experiencing during the outbreak of COVID-19, the earthquake and its 100+ tremors, I also lost my stepson, Josh, on May 27th. Josh was a strong, loving, and very passionate man. It has been my experience that with intense passion comes incredibly dark sensations. When the flames of passion do not burn openly as a beacon to the world, they can become a destructive, ravaging fire that swallows us as the kindling which is our lives. We lost Josh to the dark. I just wish he could see the light that he was to others while he was still here, and the man that he could one day be. In 2008, while exploring my need to transition to escape my own darkness, I was encouraged by a Hindu friend to check out the Unitarian Universalist Church. I grew up Baptist with, sorry, I lost my place here. It finally caught up with me. I grew up Baptist with both of my grandfathers being Baptist ministers. My father once told me that when reading scripture, I should interpret it in light of my own experience. My mother's father and mother gave up their material possessions to lead churches and become community members in marginalized communities, serving churches and where few pastors dared to go, the Black and the Latino communities. My grandmother, having studied accounting, would help the poor with their tax returns and helped at the Senior Citizen Center long after her husband passed away. In the wake of the Southern Baptist movement and its growing tendency to force its own interpretation on others and seemingly increasing disregard for independent research and observation of others, found in fields including archaeology, sociology, and religious studies to the scientific method, cosmology, and psychology, I felt myself increasingly in dissonance with that church's latest teachings. Meanwhile, I had taken a course on world religions while in the Navy, read through the Gnostic Gospel and New Age teaching, and I knew that there was a lot out there, that my home faith was increasingly missing the point. I briefly tried Pentecostalism because of the emphasis on spirit, but I found the worship of things like names didn't appeal to me. I had previously experienced dreams while serving as a Sunday school teacher for young adults in the Baptist church, in which I felt I was being told that the path to spirituality was by way of fellowship and community, so there had to be a way. When my coworker had suggested that I look into Unitarian Universalism after a distinctly personal spiritual revelation, I read the 7 principles of the faith on the internet and found that they resonated with my own core values. When I then visited Westside Unitarian Universalist Church in Fort Worth as my original gender, I felt welcomed, though cautiously so. I quietly asked the one person who welcomed me whether they accepted trans people, and was given a positive affirmation. Returning the following Sunday as Sophia, I was completely and openly embraced, both literally and figuratively. Soon afterward, I was asked to read the chalice lighting words and participated in a radical hospitality workshop. When I heard from my support group that my new church home was having auditions for the vagina monologues and looking for trans women to participate in a monologue about transgender lives, I saw my own story reflected in the piece, and I felt compelled to audition. I was cast for the first time professionally in my life, and I started feeling as if my life genuinely had purpose. In fact, it was at a later audition in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah where I was destined to meet my next and current wife, who is also trans. When I lost my job in 2009, I took a job in Louisville, Kentucky, where I started attending First Unitarian. I was asked to be the greeting coordinator of the church, which was a huge step outside of my comfort zone, as I haven't been the best at remembering people's names. But I organized the coffee and greeting schedule and had many moving conversations at the door, where I got the chance to bond with a great number of great people. As part of that process, I learned that my spiritual path was making connections. I was also appointed to the membership board at that time, and one Easter Sunday in 2010, while playing the Velveteen Rabbit, I asked for the blessing of the church while I transitioned. In September of that year, I was offered a job at Overstock in Cottonwood Heights. They're now in Midvale. When I told my friends that I was moving to the Salt Lake area, they told me that it was awesome because one of the ministers was the first ever transgender minister. So when I arrived and moved to West Jordan, I now currently reside in Midvale, I went to First Unitarian. It didn't have the lay-led feel that I had grown used to, and I found out that the other church, South Valley, was the congregation with the trans minister, but he was no longer there. The following Sunday, I visited South Valley for the first time. I was immediately welcomed and introduced to the LGBT group, Interweave. I also heard that there was a protest in downtown Salt Lake City that night, and I was invited. That was my first protest of many. In fact, the leader of that protest later came out as trans herself and has since transitioned. It wasn't long before I was asked to be the welcoming chair and took that role for a couple of years. My activism, however, led me into politics. I fought unfair insurance policy, petitioned an attorney general, and sought to sway legislators. I knew that the trans community needed a voice, and if no one else would stand up, I would. Being a voice can be hard, but it gives you a sense of purpose. Over the years, that visibility has led me to serve on multiple boards and councils. I served my community council for over 5 years, chairing it last year. I became the chair of the Transgender Inclusion Project and have been serving in the leadership of the Women's State Legislative Council of Utah for a number of years. More recently, I joined the board of the ACLU of Utah at the calling of the House Minority Leader and stepped up to chair House District 44 for the Democratic Party. I also have been called back to serve on the Board of Trustees. As a deep believer in being called to serve, I look forward to being able to bring my experience to the board during these challenging times. On multiple occasions, I've been told by others that my visibility while running and my persistence to serve has inspired them to run and serve. But I have to tell you that that inspires me. There are some days when you feel like you're just one voice in a chorus, and others when it seems like you're a lone voice crying in the wilderness. But no matter my battles, I have always been able to come to South Valley, where I find the support empowering.
Thank you so much, Sophia. So I will now share our offering words. It's our practice at South Valley to share our Sunday worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and values. For March and April, we have selected Breathe Utah, a local organization that works to improve the air we breathe through education, collaboration, and policy. They increase awareness for youth and adults, implement projects to improve air quality, and seek real and practical solutions. South Valley now has an app for giving. We have an account with Givelify. This allows South Valley to continue receiving funds during this pandemic. You're invited to give using the link that Reverend Karen is going to put in the chat box, or you can go to your phone and download the app. Givelify is the name of the app. Using this app will help South Valley tremendously during this time of physical distance. Reverend Karen is going to put our offering words into the chat box. Let's read them together. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together, we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. Thank you.
Sometimes I'm right, I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in my song. Put your banker, the drummer, and then make no difference what group I'm in. I like everyday people, yeah. There is a blue one who can't accept the green one, living with the fat one, trying to beat the skinny one. Different strokes for different folks, so on and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Sha, we got to live together. I am no better, neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do. You love me, you hate me, you know me, and then can't figure out what the bag I'm in. I love everyday people, yeah. There is a long hair that doesn't like the short hair. Being such a rich one who can't accept the poor one. Different strokes for different folks. So on and so on and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Ah, sha, sha. We got to live together. There is a yellow one who won't accept the black one, won't accept the red one, who won't accept the white one. Different strokes for different folks. So on and so on and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. I am live together.
Thank you, David. You can probably, like, if everybody wants to do the hands thing at the same time, and then we can, if you put in the, anybody who wants to can put it in the gallery view, you can see that there's great clapping for your song, and I could see people swaying back and forth. I saw one family clapping. So this is definitely a time where we can be as expressive as we want to, and it shares joy with other people because we can see each other's faces in this format. I'd like to, if you all could extend your hands out from wherever you are, just for a blessing for our offering today. For all we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to Breathe, Utah. Thank you. So here we are, week 3. And it feels, at least for our online services, and we know that soon we are, the Salt Lake City has put in a new order of everybody staying in place. The state, it hasn't gone quite as restrictive yet, but it might, it probably will. And so all of us are getting used to even being more closed off. Yesterday I had an experience of, I tried to take my dog Letty, who I love and adore, and I love taking her to the dog park, but we went over there, but the dog park was closed. They will not allow us to enter the dog park now. So it's really fascinating to see how all of these changes are affecting all of us. And it feels kind of strange to keep moving forward like nothing is going on, everything's the same. But on some level, we still have to hold both of these things true, right? That there are things that we are moving forward on, life is in some form of normal, and everything is changing. So towards that end, I wanted to actually keep this service the same. Last week was slightly different, but this one is the same because this is one that I've been actually thinking on and planning on since last fall, when we had the Transgender Day of Remembrance service. And so that was the first Transgender Day of Remembrance service that was actually part of a full Sunday service here at South Valley. And so I don't know if you know this, but on Tuesday, if I have my dates right, is the Transgender Day of Visibility. And so the Transgender Day of Visibility was created some years after the Transgender Day of Remembrance, because of realizing that we need to both, it's like living in the time we are now. We have to lift up both that hate crimes are still continuing, and that people are living lives of celebration and love and joy and speaking up, just like Sophia was talking about, of the work that she's doing. All of these things are true at the same time, and we have to make space for visibility and taking a stance. And so last fall, I saw that a ministerial colleague of mine, that his church on that Sunday, that they dedicated a new flag that has the transgender colors. I don't know if you know that there is a separate transgender flag that has blue and pink and white stripe. And so, but on this particular flag, it's blue, pink, white, and then it has brown and black and brown stripes to also represent people of color, and it still has the rainbow colors. So it kind of shows all of these things together. And I saw that and I thought, oh, that is amazing. because the reality is that for many, many years in what I refer to as usually referred to as the queer community, but the problem with just saying that is that it's not specific. So for this service, I'm going to be more specific about talking about that in the community that is gay, lesbian, and bisexual, and I'm going to be clear specifying those things out, because those things are about sexuality. Transgender, non-binary, that is about our gender, and so that are not the same things. But the world has kind of mushed them all together, and also that we now have this acronym GLBTQ or queer or whatever, but it's like saying everybody, you're all one. But it's not very true, really, is it? That people have different experiences under that umbrella. And so in the queer world, and I use that word, I am comfortable using that word as a queer woman, and I know that that has baggage for some people, but just know that that is a word that I am comfortable using. In the queer world, that there is a long history of trans people being told that their issues will have to wait. That despite discrimination that happens in jobs and housing and other ways, that all people are treated the same except for trans people. And so the GLB world was saying your issues will have to wait until our issues are taken care of. And then most recently that was referring to marriage equality. And so trans people kept reminding folks, hey, we are still experiencing higher hate crimes than everybody else. We are still being discriminated in jobs and in housing, and we need you to stand up for us, because they knew that many other folks who have been in this fight for a long time have different levels of what's called like institutional power, and saying, hey, we need to all be on the same page and don't ignore us. And so that has been a long message within the trans world. And so what I get concerned about is when we have people who are being told, look, we do care about you, but you have to go over there and keep, you can keep reminding us every once in a while, but what we need is more important. And so it's being told over and over again that you have less value, basically, is how the message that can be received and heard. I don't know about you, but there are many places in my life when I've been told to subsume myself under this bigger identity. For some people, they have been told that like if you're a woman, and for many, many years, that when there were statements that said mankind, that we were told, oh, you fit under mankind, we're just not saying woman. And so all of these things are just kind of pushed down. Things like in my seminary, which was predominantly Christian, that many of us who aren't Christian had to keep saying, wait a minute, we are here too. We are religious, but we are not Christian, and reminding people we are there and our needs matter too. And how we have to keep standing up for ourselves. When you're the person who is having that experience, then it's frustrating, challenging, and tiring to have to keep reminding people, hey, I'm here too, I matter. And so in the larger GLBT world, then they have had the rainbow flag as the main identity symbol that has been used since 1978. This was when it was first created as saying, okay, this is a symbol that we're going to use everywhere, and now people recognize that this is a symbol of either people have it themselves or organizations have it to say, hey, you gay people are welcome here. But then in the 1990s, then the message started getting to trans people of, oh yes, see, you can also use the rainbow flag, that you are also subsumed under this symbol that we have already been using since 1978. That, okay, so we hear you, but we're going to say that you fit under this symbol that we've already had. And I can't, as a person who is cisgender, I don't know what that feels like, of being told that you are not welcome, you can fit under this. And to me, that feels really dismissive and harmful, to say that you don't actually exist on your own. You have to be under this other image that we already have. And so towards that end, then I decided to start doing some research on where did this ministerial colleague find this flag that is new and has been a new image that many congregations are using. I found who created the flag, and found the manufacturer for it. And I reached out to some of our lay leaders and talked with them about it. I talked with our trans folks here about it, and they were excited about doing that. And I find it really ironic that the theme for today's service is about having a visible faith, being really truly visible when we are actually kind of invisible from each other. It takes an extra effort for people to be seen. And so what I was thinking on was, I wanted to have a dedication of the flag today, but we are all in separate spaces. And so later on, we're going to I'm going to show you the picture of what this flag looks like, and then I will read you the dedication. But I wanted you to know that this is something that this particular symbol, what it is the stripes for the transgender flag coming down in an arrow coming down with black and brown stripes that also represents people of color, with the same rainbow flag that you have had for years, the same colors. The whole rainbow flag itself has been replaced because the rainbow flag itself was kind of old, it's kind of dingy, and this new flag represents like newness and even more inclusion. It says that when people see it, oh, this congregation, that not everybody is going to know what it is. Let's be clear. I'm going to just say that. Not everybody is going to understand when they first see it, oh, what is that? But I know for myself, when I've been places where I see a symbol that is like representative of something I know, and not everybody else gets it, that is affirming. And so I know for our trans folks and people who are there, I will tell you that there are trans folks in our community who may not have outed themselves yet to everybody, but just knowing that we have this flag that says don't have to subsume yourself underneath this rainbow flag. We see you, we see all of who you are, and you do not have to hide who you are. You don't have to pretend that your issues are the exact same as everybody else's. And so this image ties all of these things together. And so when we think about having a visible faith, that this is something that we can take into our larger world of thinking about as our own faith. Who are we saying you have to be less than? Where are we not being as inclusive as we could be? And so, for example, even with creating this service, then I realized that in our old way of being, even a couple of weeks ago, then we always made sure that people who are sight impaired would get the lyrics ahead of time. And so I'm realizing that that's something I need to do to make sure that they get the lyrics for the songs and everything that we're doing to maintain everything so that we can be as inclusive as we can. That is one of the things I appreciate and love about Unitarian Universalism. We are always striving for something that we may never fully get to, but we are trying. And so I wanted to show you one other thing that we in the larger Unitarian Universalist world, there's a campaign called Side with Love. And so you've probably heard of it. And so the big symbol is yellow, the color yellow, and then there's this image. So that when we go to protests or whatever, that people see, oh yes, there's the Unitarian Universalists, and because we are known as the people who show up, just like Sophia talked about with going to the protests. I'm going to show you my new stole. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it is this bright yellow, and it says "Side with Love" on the side. And so it makes me think about the ways that we can be even more visible about how we can be fully living our faith, even when we are behind all of our separate cameras. We can still have a visible faith. We can still share the love and joy of Unitarian Universalism to the larger community. And so now I'm going to show you this image, and Stephen is going to unmute you all so you can respond to it verbally for a few seconds, and then I'm going to read you this dedication. And I encourage you to also drive by the church and take a picture of yourself with it and put it in the Facebook group that we have. I think that would be really cool. 1 second. So here is the new flag.
I think we're still getting unmuted.
Stephen, could you unmute everybody? And all of you will have to unmute yourselves.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Really cool.
Very nice.
Love it.
I like it. I really like it.
Love it.
Yeah, it looks good. I like it.
Good. That certainly makes sense.
Everyone's talking.
And inclusive.
So pretty.
Yep.
Good to be so inclusive.
And that's really
Okay,
beautiful.
Stephen, will you mute everybody? I'm going to read
It looks great.
Awesome. So thank you all for your responses. I appreciate it. And so I'm going to read this dedication now while we have this image on the screen. This is adapted from Alex Swift's dedication of a rainbow flag. Let this banner be a symbol of hope, a blanket of protection for those who need it, and a cape of power for those who must be empowered. Let this flag be a standard of our conviction to embody all of these things, and to be the change we wish to see in the world. Let the will we weave to empower and protect be woven into this flag as we weave it into the world. With our blessing, let all love be sacred, all people be sacred, and all people be free. Blessed be. So for our final song, John Berquist is going to sing Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. I will put the lyrics in the chat box. As he sings, I encourage you to stand up from wherever you are and then do the movements with us so that we can all see you doing reaching the sky, touching the earth, so we can do that together, because it's important to get up and move where we can. So now I'm going to drop those lyrics into the chat box.
Okay, why don't we do 3 verses on this one? Here we go. Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land. Our faith has a quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky. Children ask the reasons why. In our times the answers show, and by our love they'll learn to grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star and build a dream.
Now for the chalice extinguishing. Reverend Karen is going to put the chalice extinguishing words in the chat box. You're invited to stand and say our chalice extinguishing words together. If you want to grab your chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of community, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
And now we are going to be having a short break and then come back at noon to this space. You can also stay in it if you want to continue talking. If you want to stay in this space but just not be seen, you can turn off your camera. So that's up to you how you want to do that. So for our benediction, I would just want to all, if you could put out your hands like this, so put your hands in front of you and just feel the energy that we all share across time, space, and physical distance. Remember that we are all one wherever we are, and we are all loved. Blessed be, and amen.